this external focus of knowledge and control is what makes me batty. Like, nobody knows how to direct your birthing of your baby besides you. Nobody.
Clean up some of that goo coming out. Why are you here? Why? Well, I promised Sadie, you know. What do you want from me? I want you to go blind. Nancy, I told you I feel so bad, and I'm really sorry, and if there's anything I could do, I would do it. Oh my gosh. She's on a 7.
Oh my God, can we just pause for a second? That is not how you do vaginal exams at all.
Her arm was like this far into the water.
Not possible. Yeah.
Well, and so I think that here's the problem is like, it's like CNBC or whoever does this thinks it's the vagina dilating,
right?
And we have no understanding of anatomy at all. And so, like, all you have to do is just touch the labia and tell someone that she's a 7.
Oh my God, if that were only true, right? No. We need to have better understanding of what the cervix is and what it does. And also how much it doesn't need to be touched. Like, this whole like progression, this march towards 10 centimeters is ludicrous. I mean, I wish that all pregnant women knew that the cervix is a soft, malleable, pliable, moldable orifice, like your mouth, like your throat, and that it's not possible to measure it in the dark with different sized fingers and actually be accurate. Like, I wish people knew this. As a midwife of 25 years, I can 100% tell you that people don't do exams and get the same results, like almost ever, because it's completely subjective. There's no, I don't have centimeter measuring tape on my fingers, you know? Like, all I have is this comparison of various anatomy to other various anatomy. So when we're doing a cervical exam, we're comparing the fetal skull descending and rotating through the maternal pelvis. And when we are before 6 centimeters, we're measuring how much we can feel of the cervix opening. And after 6 centimeters, we're measuring what's left of the cervix. So we're measuring negative space in the beginning, and then we're measuring a very thin, mobile, malleable, sometimes swollen, sometimes engorged piece of flesh, right? And so to say that that is the threshold of progress is actually crazy. And I've talked to a lot of midwives over the years and discovered that they agree with this hypothesis. And that is that I have seen women dilate at a different speed emotionally versus physically. So I would call it psychological or emotional labor compared to physical labor. And so I've checked someone before and they're 2 centimeters, which is technically doesn't even need laboring, monitoring, doesn't even need support. Like 2 centimeters, you can walk around 2 centimeters for 2 months. It's not really a thing. But I've checked some women in labor who are 2 centimeters who are freaking out.
Crawling up the walls.
Up the wall, like losing their minds. They're going through a transition, going through a transformation in labor that does not correlate with what's happening physically. And the inverse is true. Like, I got called to a birth. I was coming back from vacation actually, and she was under the care of my backup, knew I was planning a vacation, knew that she had to see my backup. And I was coming into town. She was now a week late. She was still pregnant. And they called me and said she started having contractions. She knows you're 3 hours away. Will you come right to her birth? Okay, sure. I'll come right to her birth. And so I drove right to her birth, and she's picking roses and patting her horse and walking in her yard. She was like, I think you should check me. I was like, but you're not in labor. You know, from the outside, I was like, you look fine to me. She was like, I want you to check me. I checked her 8 centimeters. 8 centimeters, just sitting there waiting, right? And she got all the way to 10 before she had any pain or emotional response. And then she went through a very abbreviated but very clear labor of the emotions before then she was ready to push her baby up. So she was technically at 10 for about 3 or 4 hours, but she had to go through that emotional psychological labor before she could have her babies. So most people, it's correlated, right? So you're 2 centimeters, you're acting 2 centimeters. For 4 centimeters, you're acting for you're 6, you're 6. But some people, it's disjointed. And so the idea that this arbitrary, inaccurate measurement in the dark is the guide to how progress happens is, first of all, bullshit. And then the second of all is that it doesn't correlate. Like, it doesn't always correlate.
And that it's in a perfect circle.
Oh yeah, that whole thing. Oh God, don't start. You need to come to my workshop to learn about the oval egg-shaped cervix that actually lives in all of us. But yeah, what a hoot! Sticking your hand down halfway into the soupy water.
Yeah.
By the way, birth tubs are total stew. It is stew. It is human stew.
Sitting in.
I mean, I loved my water birth, but it's gross. I have it on record.
Here we go.
I mean, you should only be in your birth. And where is this midwife's gloves? Okay, that's the end of my rant.
Well, okay, so I'm interested. Yeah, I'm really interested in this, and who this is, because once again, let's talk about like the media portraying midwives.
Right. Her name is Patchouli
Oh, Jesus.
in this show. Yeah, we're just hippie freaks. That's what we are.
I'm just going to incense and sage your space and wear Birkenstocks and stick my fingers, touch your vulva and tell you you're 7 centimeters.
Yeah, no wonder the universe has a poor image of what we do.
I want your ashes stuffed up and where do you want them stuffed? I don't know. Somewhere gross. Like up an ass? Yeah. Like way up. Yeah. Well, whose ass? Come on, whose ass? I need you off of my hair now.
Well, that's accurate. I'm glad she took her phone out of the pocket. Do you know how many dads have ruined their phones getting in the
Be way more filled up than that.
Way more filled up. And also, people in clothes that are randomly not related to you don't belong in your birth tub, no matter how much of an emotional reaction.
No, but you have to have enough water in order to keep baby underwater fully before you bring them up, rather than like underwater, then under the water.
And to be buoyant. The point of water birth is that you're actually buoyant.
There's like not even enough to fill the first rung of the eco pool.
No.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, here we're gonna check her cervix again because this is the level of trance. So.
Hey, state. I can't believe you're just sitting in my juices. It's not for you. Your mucus plug is on my arm. Okay, my love.
That's not how long it takes to dilate. This is so dumb.
Wait, did she just say she's starting to push now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's totally what she said.
Oh, okay.
Hurts so much. You got this, Nancy. Come on. We can do this.
This external focus of knowledge and control is what makes me batty. Like, nobody knows how to direct your birthing of your baby besides you. Nobody. If you've lost your way, if you've run out of pathways, then that's why you hire experts, doulas and childbirth educators and midwives and nurses and doctors and people to help say, hey, I think the path's up here, come with me this way. But before you even get an opportunity to find the path yourself, like this control of, okay, it's time to push, this one makes me furious. And also we know that it leads to so many interventions and so many cesareans, so many failed inductions. We just had this great post on our Instagram page about what the word failure is used in obstetrics so much. So sad. Leila, what are you ruminating about?
Yeah, I'm thinking about, kind of, even when you feel that fetal ejection reflex where you're like throwing down your baby, right? And people around you see and hear you like gutturally bearing down, they then decide they have to coach you.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
Push harder, push.
Yeah, like we see that a lot. Like mom did have, like the birthing person did have the initial instinct, and it was their time to bear down and start pushing. And as soon as like the doula, the partner, the midwife, like hears that and sees that, it's like what they weren't doing with our silence was enough. And we have to like now tell them to do more than what they were doing. So there's always someone trying to manage the birthing person.
Yeah.
Like at some point, like we have to have a finger in managing it, like society, we as a whole, humans, in managing that. And maybe it's just because that's a safe space for a lot of people to be managing it, control.
Interesting. That's interesting.